We're live, Kiwi.
Hey,
What's happening, brother man? How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. And you?
Oh, I haven't talked to you all week.
No.
Is it cold
No.
in Franklin?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Plenty snow and ice and sliding around. And
Oh, it's been brutal here. Brutal.
yeah.
I tried to get some stuff done. I'm like, no, I'm just going to hide for most of the day.
Yeah. Man, I've been working. Hey, we got on board Brian Powers and Tavo's here. Daddy
Yeah.
Mc66, Dr. Art's here. Hello,
Dr. Art,
ladies.
what's happening, brother?
Hello, ladies. That's a bit rude, isn't it? Hey, golly. Nick Bruni.
What's rude?
Dr. Art saying hello, ladies, to us. It's like,
That's okay. I can identify either way.
Jeff Hutchins, yeah, I'm here, brother. Nathan's Mopar Garage, yeah. Starting strong.
So, Kiwi, what's the countdown to your leaving on your journey?
It's about 2.5 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, 2nd of February, we're going to jet out first thing in the morning and see if we can't get this old girl going.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that from here.
I'm lashing out and get myself a GoPro, so we might do some live streaming on the road, and we'll see what happens.
What's happening, man? So Kiwi doesn't join Tony in person for Wednesday nights anymore. What you understand? I'm moving out of the shop. There's no heat in there. Everything is upside down, and it's just easier to do it this way for right now. We'll get back together again once I'm in the new shop, which we're setting up a nice studio. So he and I won't have to sit on those chairs in the shop and with all the chaos. It'll be nice.
We'll have heat in winter and cool in summer.
Oh, it'll be beautiful, bro. It'll be beautiful.
Nice.
Well, almost like humans. Kiwi, take a few MREs for the worst case scenario that you get stuck. Yeah, you don't want to have to kill and eat your companion.
MREs? What's an MRE?
Meal ready to eat. It's a military thing.
Right. Okay, I'm with you. Yeah, no. Yeah, that would.
Yeah, because you're going to need Steve once you get back to work.
That's true. Yeah, I've got to have someone to fix the damn thing. So yeah,
on the road, you have to go find labor, and that is not easy.
That's not easy, no.
And
Tavo says you must be missing my touch.
That's so gay. Fubar. What's happening?
Fubar's in the house.
That's so. If you guys haven't subbed to Kiwi, he does really interesting videos on door handles and other things, right? You did a video.
A couple of other things.
You've beat me. I thought that I hit the maximum of like automotive trivia, but you actually put out a video on door handles and got good views on it. I'm still blown away by this.
There you go. Jeff Hutchins, that blue thing isn't a snow machine. I tell you what, man, I had to take it to work this week because the little front-wheel drive Lincoln I have been driving for a little bit, that wouldn't get out our house. Like, wouldn't get up the road from our house. It's not very steep, but front-wheel drive, and it just was not getting up the hill. So we had to break out that blue thing and get up the hill.
I've been driving four-wheel drive.
Right.
So this is my first winter with a four-wheel drive vehicle. It's different. I like it.
Yeah. It makes a huge difference.
Mike Brunello, will DeSoto heads fit on LA318? No, they will not. The entire top section of the casting is different. So the DeSoto Hemi uses a separate valley pin, like let's see, like a Pontiac motor or like the Chryslers, right? So it's got a separate valley pin, and then the head goes over. Actually, like a big block Chrysler. Okay. And the LA motor has an open valley up on the top, so the intake manifold seals the top of it. That's, the main reason why you couldn't use DeSoto Hemi heads on an LA block. But they are close. Like the bolt patterns, the bore spacing is the same, the bolt pattern is the same. They're really, really close. But they did make some revisions when they did the Poly Plymouth versus the DeSoto.
Mercedes maintenance. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, man. It's been I think I've done 3 parts on putting the rear quarter on a Mustang. So
you've got 3 whole videos on 1 quarter panel.
Yeah.
I have to rethink my whole strategy of doing YouTube, man.
Well, I could have done it in a like a 1 30 or 40-minute video, but I don't know. I think you go too long and people kind of lose interest. So you break it down into parts, and I don't know, people seem to enjoy it. Richard Stanbury, what would you say about the idea of, where's it going? Into a late model, from a late model car into an old one, say a Studebaker where the originals aren't available? Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, yeah, I mean, you can go for like the flush style modern door handles, with a little recess in the door. Nothing, you could use something from the 60s or 70s. It's just just let your imagination run wild. And if you want them to fit, you can make them fit. It just might take a little bit of thinking.
I would say something more common from the 60s, like from a Mustang or something like that, just to stay within the head of the car. You know what I mean? Unless you're doing like a custom where you're smoothing everything out and you want the door handles to be flush.
Yeah. I do have a spare set of Cougar door handles, stock ones.
And you'll give it to them for a reasonable price.
That's right.
Yes.
Yes.
I just literally just now saw a thing about a woman who she's someplace where they had an ice storm and she couldn't get into her Tesla because the door handle had iced over and she couldn't push the thing in to make it
wouldn't pop out. Someone also just mentioned that his neighbour got an electric car that was in a heated garage and kept warm and charging all night, and then he went to work, and by the end of the day the thing was dead again and couldn't. Now it wouldn't take a charge, and now it's at the dealership. So it's like,
Zero's here. What's happening, Zero?
Hey, Zero. Oh, Tavo's saying previous owner put Mitsubishi flush handles in his Valiant. There you go.
Jeff Hudson's. Do either of your XJs have the MP242 transfer case with the full-time? No. I have 3 Jeeps. Only one of them is 4-wheel drive, and it's got just the regular, 4 high, neutral, and then 4 low deal. I don't need anything more than that. I really don't. It was just a couple of times where I popped it into the 4 high, just because the roads were really ice, really slick, really, But really, for the most part, I've driven around like a regular Jeep. I like that system because it's simple and it's common. And if it takes a dump on me, I can go to any junkyard and pick one up for like $100. So I'm just going to stick with what's in there. New comments. Let me click on new comments. Anthony Perna saying hi.
Hey.
End of time. What do you guys think of a 76 Pacer as a daily driver?
So it's an AMC Pacer, I assume he's talking about? Yep. Yeah, why not? I mean, Mexican spec, he's going to be in a little bit later tonight. I was talking to him today, and he's taking his wife to the dentist or something. So he's going to be checking in, but a little bit late. But he's got an AMC Pacer for sale, a nice one.
Really?
Yeah. It's like $8,000. I think, no, $7,000. $7,000, and that's delivered to the border of Mexico and Arizona. Something like that. But it's a really nice car, done low miles. Red, got the old school mag wheels on it. Why not a daily driver? They're a little compact car and easy to drive, and it's a 6-cylinder, so it's probably not horrible on gas. Yeah, why not?
I think
yeah,
definitely. The only thing I'd be concerned with is because parts of those things have got to be dear. You know what I mean? It's like, what if you break a piece of glass or something? It's like you can really have a problem with it. That's the only drawback to it, I would see.
The windshields were a real problem up until very recently, and they've just started making new windshields for it.
Really?
Admittedly, the windshield's about $600, but people were getting $1,500 for a second-hand one.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Because you couldn't, money, you could not buy a new one. Money could not buy you a new one, and finally they've started repopping them.
How do you know so much about Pacers, bro?
I like them. I was asking, just because, admittedly they're ugly. No, you can't say they're not ugly, but they're cool because they're just so ugly and so different. I mean, if people didn't know, I don't think many people would assume that the Pacer was an American car. It just doesn't look. It's not your typical American car.
I very remember the 70s when it was like 13, 14, 15, and you had the Chevy Monza, which at the time looked like a futuristic spaceship, right? It was compared to everything else, because you have to compare these cars to what was on the road at the time. And like the Monza was like way from the distant future. And the Pacer came along, and that looked like something that like literally was designed in outer space, and it dropped it. They were, I mean, when they were around, I didn't like them. They were ugly. You know, when you compare them to everything else on the road, they had no redeeming value. They were just ugly and weird. And people who drove them were usually ugly and weird, right? But, you know, time changes things. It changes his perspective on stuff. And now I look at it and I'm like, my God, that's so cool. You know, it's like, definitely, I would absolutely rock one of those.
Yeah. Yeah. Mexican Specs just checked in. Told you he'd be here late, but he's here. That's what counts. Territory saying, Kiwi, don't forget to take with you job applications in case you come across blue-haired zombies in the SoCal area attacking you. Oh, that's something to look forward to, isn't it?
Yes, take job applications. That's the silver bullet for those people.
Yeah, Glenn Nicholson saying Wayne's World Pacer, Party on Garth. I think that was the beginning of the comeback for the Pacer, was that movie.
Brisbane Borts. How do you check cam timing without a degree wheel? I actually happen to do 2 videos on exactly that. The question is, are you trying to do it with just a valve cover, or off, or are you trying to do it with like the way you can actually get to the lifters? Because when you can get to the lifters, you can actually get an extremely accurate measurement, right? You measure the height difference between the lifters with a straight edge, okay? And this is a ballpark that works, and I've checked this on literally, I've checked on every engine I've worked on, right? So name it, and I've checked it on it. So a difference of 6,000ths of an inch, it's 6,000ths of an inch is 2 degrees of cam timing. So a height difference of 6,000ths of an inch, either advanced or retarded, you know, depending on which way you're going with that. A height difference of 6,000ths of an inch between the lifters is 2 degrees of camshaft timing. And you go the same thing to 12,000ths is 4 degrees. Now, once you get past that, then it starts to become different. And now it's going to depend on the profile of the cam, the ramp, and all of that. But for just the approach ramp, or the clearance ramp, they call it, on the cam, this is a measurement that holds true with every single engine I've ever checked. So 2,000ths of an inch is, or 6,000ths of an inch is 2 degrees of timing. Now, if you want to check it from just take the valve cover off, it's a little trickier there, because now you've got whatever compression there is in the lifters. So the lifter bleeds down a little bit, it's going to give you a different measurement. But you can ballpark it by laying a straight edge across the valves, the valve retainers, and then use a multiplication factor of the ratio of the rocker. You know, so that's, or you could do it from the push rod side of the rocker, providing you can get a straight edge across it. But yeah, that's essentially how you do it. And I did two complete videos on that. And this was a trick. This isn't something like I came up with myself. This was something that Keith Black himself, the legendary Keith Black. Well, this is how he recommended. This is how he taught me to do on the nitro motors. Because on those things, you change cam timing like as a part of the tuning, and you can do it between rounds, because the front of the timing, the gear drive, you take the fuel pump off, and you've got that cover that comes off, and then you can change the cam gear and moving around. So this is actually the Keith Black method of doing cam timing without the gear.
Huh. Yeah. The Holy Car Mods are saying Frenched antennas are cool. Don't see people do it anymore. Do you guys like custom stuff like that? I do like custom stuff like that. That's a real 60s, 70s kind of custom thing. But yeah, I've never actually done it. Because everybody wants hidden antennas now, and these little wee ones that hide under the dash or in the back parcel shelf, that sort of thing. Yeah, so it's kind of something that's just kind of died and gone away, really, other than some of the old survivors have still got it, you know.
See, I don't like. I know what the hell is that? Your stomach, Kiwi?
What's that?
Is that your stomach making that noise?
No?
There was a crazy sound coming over the thing.
Oh, I don't know what that was. Didn't hear it.
All right, well, all right. I personally don't like partial custom touches. So in other words, like especially like on 60s cars. But I do like them when it's a full done car. You know what I mean? So in other words, like when the thing is customized from one end to the other, yeah, I have a great appreciation for that. I love those cars. Especially when I know the original car. Like when I see a full custom version of a car that I'm familiar with, I geek out over that because I see all the different things that have been done and how they're done. But I don't like partial customs. You know, I don't like a car that's like stock otherwise, except they Frenched the antenna and they shaved the door handles. That to me is just like half-assed and it's weird. But I do appreciate a full custom car.
Yeah.
You kind of agree?
I do, yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. My ex-sister-in-law had a Pacer. She was double bad, ugly, and really weird. Nice. Let's see. It's good to be, and it is good to have you here, Josh Holman. Let's see. Mexican Spec is saying that French antennas collect a lot of water. I imagine
It's true, they do, yeah. But you're not really meant to take a full custom out in the rain. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you see, that's the thing about customs, okay? Like people don't understand that a lot of what like visual shortcuts that the manufacturers take, they do it for a reason, you know, because like they were like exactly that, like a French antenna, you know, it's like, well, why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you smooth this? Or wouldn't it? And it's really because of the way the car has to go out into the world, you know what I mean? And like certain things just are not friendly to the wind, to the, you know, they'll collect dust, dirt, road grime, salt, all of these things. So it's one of the reasons why things are kind of the way they are in a production car, that people go out of their way to make, you know, smooth and clean and custom.
They're also very hard to paint. To get paint down inside a French antenna or a headlight or whatever is you know, that's just another, and that's, as you say, it's the reason the manufacturers don't do it, because they're trying to keep it simple and keep it easy. Tarbo's trying to find a goofy 70s accessory for his ute.
A goofy 70s accessory. What would be a goofy 70s accessory? I know, right, everybody's going to say the surfer foot. The foot gas pedal, that's too cliche.
I've got one of those sitting in my toolbox.
Yeah, I have one sitting upstairs. I'm just waiting for the right guy to put it on. What would a goofy 70s accessory be?
Probably one of those bobblehead dog things that you put in the back window.
I would cover everything
with the dog with the head doing that. What's that?
Cover everything inside the car in shag carpet.
Shag.
Yeah. Cover the.
Well, he's got a ute, mate. What about putting shag pile in the back of the ute, Darbo? There you go. It's a ute, so a little truck. Yeah, that'd be a good. Like I remember back then, they used to flock everything. Do you remember that? Flocking was popular.
What's flocking?
It's like when you paint something and then you spray this velvety kind of. Sticks to it. Yeah. That was popular way back then. You know, people would do the whole underside of the car and flock, and it's like, oh my god, like what's happened the first time it goes out in the rain? It's going to be awful.
Yeah, the steering wheel. I forgot about those.
yeah, I had forgotten about that.
If you're going to keep the steering wheel, you got to put a Brody knob on it. Let's see. Curb feelers.
Curb feelers, yeah. Little cloth balls that hung from the windows. Jeff Hutchins, get the flock out of my car.
Yeah, suicide knob. It's actually called a Brody wheel.
Tony, were air shocks a factory option for Plymouth in '63? Mexican Specs asking if air shocks were a factory option for Plymouth in '63.
I don't recall. I don't think they were, but I wouldn't be surprised, especially like dealer options, dealer packages, dealer setup. You know, I imagine that as like a dealer could take a basic car, you know, and say, well, I could boof this thing up for towing, you know, put a heavy duty this, heavy duty that, put air shocks in it to level the load. So, but I don't believe it was anything that was assembly line fitted to those cars. Dragon's Breath 198. Tony, you're going to break out the boomer chair for the latest EV fire in Colorado. The one in the garage. Oh, bro, so much stuff has happened since then. You got all of these. You got all the dead robots in Chicago and in Colorado, the Teslas, and Hertz is getting rid of 60%. Oh, sorry, 20%. Is it? They're getting rid of 20,000 electric cars, swapping them out for gasoline cars because they can't afford to keep them on the road. The maintenance costs are too high. There's so many things that are going on in the world of electric cars, but it's like it's low hanging fruit. I'm just going to let it go for now. Let's see. Dave Fernandez, Tony, oil came from the biblical flood. Dinosaurs ran for life. Don't know.
Joe K saying GM just invested in a new generation V8 platform.
Yeah, they're all realizing now it was just that the EV thing is just like, no, it's just a non-starter. Do you know how many millions of people now are watching the news about these cars getting stuck in you know, millions of potential EV buyers that are watching these cars get stuck all over the place because it got cold. Oh, it got cold. And my car won't charge. And the best part about it is the people are just abandoning the cars there. They're pulling them up to the supercharger. They're sitting there for 2, 3, 4 hours. Nothing goes into the car, and they're like, you know what, I'm going to die here. It's like, I have to leave. I have to hit this. And they're just abandoning the cars at the charging centers. So it's like, yeah, it's over.
Wow.
It's over. Maya Johnson saying oil came from the plants, not the dinosaurs. No, it came from neither. It's a natural byproduct of the Earth's internal combustion process. The Earth is always sweating oil. Always has, always will. Anthony Perna. Kiwi and Tony. Put your name first. That's weird, right? You're taking over, Kiwi.
What am I doing?
He put your name first.
Yeah, they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
I don't
know what to make of that, bro.
Interesting.
I don't know what to make of that. All right. Is it better to use points triggering an MSD box or just use a Duraspark 2 distributor on a daily driver? I'm debating on whether it's worth buying the Duraspark harness. I want to know why you're going to use an MSD on a daily driver. What is the purpose of using this MSD? You're trying to overcome some sort of deficiency. What is the deficiency that makes you say, I need multiple sparks below 3,500 RPM? So that's the question, not what you're going to trigger it with. What purpose is this thing going to serve? And
Chris Green. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, and on a daily driver, what's the volume of fuel that you're going to have to light in the combustion chambers that you're going to need even a CDI? But that's beside the point. Kiwi?
I was going to say, Chris Greenaway is saying, Kiwi, are you hiring? Maybe, yeah. Yeah, maybe. I need some help. I can't get it all done. Reach out to me. Tell me what you're thinking.
See, that's why he says Tony and Kiwi. Right. Predunte, depth of oil is found far below the age of the dinosaurs. Duh. Methane rains on Neptune. Yes. Hydrocarbons are found on Titan and a lot of other moons and planets. So there are dinosaurs and planets there. No, I know. It's the oldest scam It's the scam of the post-industrial revolution. Okay. Anthony Pern again. Okay, Tony, I'm looking to basically not have to worry about point wear. From what I've been told, points last forever with an MSD box. Well, I mean, you're adding a complication to if there's going to be a failure anywhere in your electrical system, in your ignition system, it's going to be the MSD or something related to the MSD. So you're adding a potential failure point to make up for, let's say, an adjustment every 5 or 10,000 miles, potentially, right? Try to find some NOS, old school points, throw them in there, and don't worry about it for 10,000 miles at a clip. I would not use an MSD box to try to save on points. But yes, an MSD box triggered by points, which was the most common thing. If you go back to like when MSDs first came around, that was the most common thing. You use points to trigger them. But the points, okay, so they're not carrying a load of the coil. They're only acting as a ground for the MSD. So there's less arcing, and they stay clean. They last literally forever. But that's not the way to. You got it backwards, bro. You got it backwards.
Chris Cadman, yes, bourbon. Cheers, mate. Ooh, it's getting a bit low too.
Glenn Nicholson, the mood is made of green cheese. Anybody got some crackers? Let's see.
Ooh, can the Slant 6 make better power than a Jeep 4-liter?
Not even on its. No, not even close. Not even close. There's no comparison between the two engines. Not that the Slant 6 is bad, but the Slant 6 was designed as an economy engine in the 1950s. I'd say, it went into production in the 1960s. It was designed in the 50s. It's got tiny, tiny bores. It has tiny valves. It has tiny ports. The Jeep motor is descended from the old AMC Hurricane 6. So that was a mid 1960s design, and it's much closer to what we would consider to be a good performance platform today. So no, there's no comparison between the two engines. It's apples and oranges.
So Thunderbird 1968. Thunderbird 1968 is saying that you did a video saying Ford suck because the coils are under the control arm.
No, the coils are over the control arm on those cars.
Yeah, same with the Mustang. Yeah.
They put
all above it. Yeah.
Yeah, they put the control. Yeah, he's got that backwards on the video I did. The problem is it's not that putting the coil spring on top of the upper control arm is a bad idea in and of itself. It's actually superior in some ways. The problem is it intrudes greatly into the engine compartment. So, like from a driver's standpoint, it's like yes, it's better. It's geometrically better to have the coil spring above. So, but we don't look at things from a pedestrian or consumer standpoint. We look at things from a hot rodder standpoint. So it's like, I got to work on this thing. I want to try to put different motors in it. I got to try to get headers on it, whatever it happens to be. And for us as hot rodders, hands-on people, just mechanics in general, it's a freaking nightmare. But, so it's like, it's good for the general public who just doesn't care and will never open their own hood, never consider modifying or even tuning up their own cars. But for us, from our side of the fence, man, it's horrible. It's the worst. Even Kiwi, a dedicated Ford guy, he bleeds Ford, whatever color Ford, blue. He bleeds Ford blue.
He goes.
Yes, like an alien lizard. And he says it's terrible.
It's not the most efficient use of space in the engine bay, but yeah. What did he say? Yeah, Thunderbird has them under the control arm, apparently, the late 60s Thunderbird.
Yeah.
Thunderbird 68 saying, yeah, they're under the control arm.
Yeah, different models and years of Fords put them up above and in the conventional position. But it's just those particular cars that we're talking about that have them up top. And then those are the ones most people want to modify for performance.
Right.
Let's see. So poly people. You're a polysphere guy, huh? Snoopy boobs? Nice.
Snoopy boobs.
That's what they used to call me in junior high school.
Really?
Yeah, Snoopy boobs. It was embarrassing.
David Fernandez, Kiwi, are you a dedicated Ford guy? Yeah, I have to be honest and say I have a leaning towards Fords, just an affinity with them. But I wouldn't call myself a dedicated Ford guy. She's 2.5 weeks. I'm heading out to buy a Plymouth. So, does that make me a Mopar guy? I get a lot of Mustangs through the shop. So I've got probably a little more experience with those than a lot of people do. And I've had a good run with Ford. So, yeah.
He also enjoys being punched in the kidneys.
He also what?
Enjoys being punched in the kidneys.
Well, no, not really. Not really.
Let's see. Snoopy boobs is polyamorous. Oh, that's.
Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. Kiwi, do you like old Thunderbirds? I like the 5567 Thunderbirds. That's my favourite ones.
See, I don't like those cars.
I like the look of them. I can't. They're very difficult for me to get in and drive. There's really not much room in them. I'd like to own one, but I'd have to figure out how to make more room to get in and out of the damn thing.
I shouldn't say I don't like those cars. There are elements of them that I like, but I like the Vet of that era a lot. I think the Vet just pulled it off better.
Yeah. I'll go along with that.
Let's see. Tony Georgie, what do you think of those clear Holly sight bowl screws? I prefer. They're okay. I prefer the ones the easy ones to remove, just the stock ones, because you can shake the motor, get the extra out, and continue your adjustment. Whereas you really can't do that with the clear ones.
That's true.
Let's see. Kiwi, what are you going to do with the gas tank on the 59 Plymouth?
As we don't really know what the condition of it's going to be like, the plan, if it holds fuel, fine. I just don't know what it's going to be like. The plan B is they have a massive cargo area underneath the floor in the back of them. So plan B is to just get a couple of plastic fuel jugs and run an internal fuel hose, up the car and up to the carburetor, and just set it up like that.
I tell you what, I have a 12-gallon fuel cell at the shop. Take that with you.
What about how big is that?
12 gallons. It'll fit. It's about yay by about yay by about.
Okay.
It'll fit. It'll fit right in the back.
Oh, it'll fit. But what about getting it there? Well, they probably not going to want to take that on the plane, are they?
Oh, right. You're flying out there.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I don't know how you would get that on there. I guess you could just wrap it in cardboard.
Yeah, it's a thought.
Just wrap it in cardboard. It's been empty so long, I don't think it even smells like gasoline anymore.
Right.
But yeah, at least you got a proper. You could just bungee it down to something in the back of the wagon.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have kind of wondered about that, but yeah, we've got some potential there to do something. To have a remote kind of tank set up in the trunk under the floor at the back, and just a little electric pump, and away you go.
Speed Demon Tony president.
There you go. We couldn't do any worse, could we?
No, well, we would have to fight to the death to determine which one of us would actually be the president. And I would declare myself the warlord anyway. I don't like the title president, but I do like warlord.
Yeah, bet you do.
Oh, dude, if they gave me the nukes, if I had the suitcase, come on, I'd fix everything in an hour. The whole world. I'd have the whole world straightened out in an hour.
There you go. Lawrence Schneiber is saying, buy a boat, like an outboard motor tank, I guess he's meaning. Buy a boat tank when you get there. Yep, that's a possibility. There's ways around it, yeah. But I'm certainly not expecting the tank, counting on the tank to be in good shape and clean. That would be a lot to hope for. And the chances of the fuel lines running front to back are being any good are slim as well. So we'll just buy, 20 feet of fuel line from Napa or somewhere and plumb it.
Yeah, so Anthony Perrin, I had someone. What is that? Do you hear that? Is it on your?
No. Well, what?
I don't know. It's weird. Okay. Anthony Perrin is saying he had someone shipping a gas tank, washed it out several times with degreaser. So yeah, if you've got an address, man, why don't you just do that? I'll drop off that fuel cell to you tomorrow and just ship it ahead to that guy.
Yeah, okay, I could do that. Yeah,
you've got it. There's no questions or running around. A boat tank is going to the little marine tank is going to cost you a ridiculous amount.
Yeah, and the 12 gallons would be, you're not going to get a boat tank holds 12 gallons.
Yeah,
and 12 gallons is not going to run you that far in a 59 Suburban. Okay, no, good idea, Anthony.
Tony Giorgi, what jets should I start with? The Holly 750 on a Chevy 383. Start with the stock ones. Start with the ones that are in there now. It depends on the 750. If they're jetted differently. You can find the specs online. What's already in there. They're jetted differently between the one with the mechanical choke and the one with the automatic choke. The one with the mechanical choke is jetted fatter than the one with the automatic choke. But I'll start with what's in there and then put the cartridge paces. If you have an AFR gauge on it, tune with that. If you don't, then tune with plug color. But you just start off with what's in there and then see where you go from there. Okay, he's saying it's microphone echo. I'm going to move my microphone is okay. I'm going to move it over here and see what happens. Okay.
David Fernandez is just asking what about the Plymouth. It's a 1959 Plymouth Suburban, which is not a Suburban like a Chevy Suburban. It's basically that's what they called their station wagon. So it's a four-door wagon, got the big fins on the back, like was popular in '59, and sat in the desert for 45 years. So we're gonna.
The front of it, the front sheet metal is what? What's it similar to?
Similar to Christine,
So
that infamous movie or famous movie. Very, very similar look, like a station wagon version of Christine.
Mechanical choke. Yeah, like I said, it's going to be calibrated differently than the automatic choke. If you just Google it, they'll tell you exactly what. I should know off the top of my head what's in there, but I don't. But yeah, they'll tell you what jets are in there. But obviously, just start with don't crack it open yet. Just start with what's on there and see how your engine likes it. There's so many different factors involved in that. You know what I'm saying? The overall package, the car, how much wind is this thing? Well, forget about that. Gearing, converter, cam, exhaust system. There are so many factors that count for jetting. What your optimum jetting is going to be, RPM range that the motor's operating in. So just start with what's there, and then you can't make recommendations ahead of time without knowing the entire package and how. And you can have two cars that really are more or less identical in every way, but they'll want different fuel for whatever reason. So just one step at a time. Start with what's stock. Joe K. Is that Suburban a descendant of the forward look era? It is the forward look era.
Yeah. Cuda 426 Hemi saying the 57.8 was Christine. Yes, you're absolutely right. Christine, I believe, was a 57. The question was, what's that? What is it similar to? and like trying to explain something, a car that's similar to something, you've kind of got to line it up with something that's really well known. So most car guys have seen the movie Christine, so that was just an easy way of giving a point of reference for something that's pretty similar.
Right. The CPU had some good luck there with a 71 Monty that was sitting for 18 years. Excellent. Fred Gomez, Uncle Tony, go with him. Not on a bet. Nope. No.
No.
That's a hard no.
Mark's asking, are the water pumps still available? Yes, they are, and there is one on the way to it now. I've ordered a bunch of stuff from Rock Auto, including a water pump that's on its way to the car as we speak.
That water pump is going to be the same for all Chrysler small blocks until 1999.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. Tim Page, Uncle Tony Kiwi. Many of the Mustangs you seem to do are a lot of them previously botched restorations.
Yeah. Short answer, yes. Not that many Mustangs these days are untouched. Someone's had a crack at them at some point. And when they weren't worth so much, they tended to get botched a lot more because, no one was going to spend 3 times what the car was worth on a restoration. They were shortcutted pretty bad. A lot of those Mustangs. So a lot of them were just poor restorations. And then of more recent times, flippers get their hands on them. And if you can pick up a really rusty one really cheap, you can make some good money if you can find a sucker to buy it. And as they say, there's a sucker born every day. So, people get caught all the time on some very bad Mustangs.
So, wow, this thing is feedback like crazy. Okay. The polar opposite of the alien porthole mole is the Antarctica alien base. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yes. Actually, it has to do with the latitude and longitude. If you reverse them, you end up in Antarctica. But that's.
X-Files. Mexican speak saying X-Files. Do.
Oh yeah, there you go. The yellow cabs on Mad World. That's right. Yeah. You've seen that movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were all 59s.
Oh, of course, yeah. Tony, will you be bringing the 55 Chevy project to the new shop?
Unfortunately, right, I wasn't paying attention, and I had somebody help me out at the shop one day, and he accidentally swept it up. So, yeah, I don't really have it anymore.
I was going to say, I didn't know you had a 55 Chevy.
Yeah, I started on a 55 Chevy. It was a 2-door. I was going to convert to 4-door and then back to 2-door again, just to, for content. And I had the beginnings of it laid out on the floor, and somebody accidentally swept it up. So I don't have it anymore.
Okay.
Holy car mods. Is it worth getting manuals to help rebuild carburetors? Is it better to watch YouTube for a guy who has not rebuilt them on cars? You know what? I'm going to say if you can get your hands on a manual, it's good because it's good reference. It's better to go and study a page of a manual and have to rewatch a section of a video over and over and over again.
Yeah, I find that too. That the videos of some of the videos out there have gotten me out of a bind, but it does get a bit hard, like rewinding 10 seconds and rewinding 10 seconds, like just try and see that little thing that you're trying to figure out.
Well, so I've done many carburetor videos over the last 5-6 years that we're doing this. It's almost 6 years. I keep saying 5, but it's actually almost 6. I've done many carburetor videos, and I've gone in depth into each type of carburetor and each of the subsystems in the carburetors. But in none of those videos did I ever get into the specific. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. because I figured, well, here, I'll arm you with the knowledge of how this thing works. And then if you know how it works, now you can look at a manual or a piece of literature and determine on your specific carburetor what has to be done. So yeah, I would say watch a couple of YouTube videos to get a general idea. So you see how it comes apart. You see, you know, you see like that. But then the manual for the actual nitty gritty is a good thing to have. And then after you've done your first carburetor, it's like just like automatic transmissions. After you do your first one, it's like, oh, I can do this. This is nothing. And it's the same thing with carburetors. Once you crack the ice and you get in there, you'll be fine, man. Good evening, Adrian Frausto. Jay Weiss, did you notice that the rustic original look on cars is really in now? Not many like the painted new show quality now. Ratty look is in and they'll like it. I agree. See, I like ratty cars. Kiwi's the exact opposite. Kiwi's like a show car guy. You know what I mean? If it's not like absolutely perfect, he's like, beat it with a hammer. Just get it out of my sight. I'm disgusted by you and your car and the shadows that it casts.
Well,
right? You know what I mean? But I like that stuff.
That's a little harsh. That's a little harsh. I do like, you know, the perfect car, or, you know, as close as you can get. But I do have an appreciation for an original old, you know, Survivor. That's just, you know, no stress. You park it where you want to park it. You don't have to worry about it too much. You know, there's a lot to be said for those. And the old Falcon convertible I've got, I mean, that's original paint, and the paint's failing, you know, particularly over the factory leaded seams.
My paint's
failing, but there's no way I'm painting it. There's no way I'm painting it because it's original paint, and once it's gone forever. You can't get it back. And I can drive it around and I can say it's original paint from 1963. So yeah, that's what people appreciate. And the funny thing I've found too is, like, I've got my Mustang, which is all blinged out and perfect and all the rest of it, and I've got this Falcon that's just a good old Survivor, and I get many more people talking to me when I'm in the Falcon than I do in the Mustang. It's like people perceive you as being more approachable, you know, when you're driving, you know, just a more regular car. You know, an old Survivor. People love to come up and say, oh, you know, my mother had one of these, my dad had one of these, you know, and they really want to talk to you. The Mustang, they walk by and you can kind of see them looking and appreciating it, but they don't, you know, probably less than half as many will actually approach you and talk to you about it.
All right, let's see what you
Okay.
Okay. I have an 1886 D15318. Starts and idles perfect. Give it gas and it dies. Has a new carb. Not a mechanic. Need help. Possibly weak pump. Whew. Okay. So the new carburetor.
First thing I'd look at is see if the accelerator pumps are actually squirting any fuel down.
Yep.
Would be the first thing to check. I mean, I put a remanufactured carb on an F-250 like just a week ago, and it leaked more fuel than the one I took off, and it was remanufactured. And on the accelerator pump, this is a true story, you know, I've got pictures. On the accelerator pump, there's 4 little screws, like in a square pattern, on the front of this Ford carburetor.
Yeah.
And 3 of the screw heads were there, and the 4th one, they'd actually put like some kind of a little lead rivet head in there where the screw should have been, because the original screw had broken off in the carburetor body. So they attempted to kind of seal it up with this little lead plug where the screw should have been. And yeah, imagine that, it didn't work. But that was a remanufactured carb purchase from O'Reilly's.
Well, that's because the 9-year-old girl in East Bongo Squeegee that was putting that thing together, just, you know, she cross-threaded the bolt, and after they got done whipping her, she had to put a piece of lead in there.
Yeah, and it was lead, because I kind of dug into it with a pick, and it was soft and lead, and I just popped it out, and it's like, and in behind it was the broken screw, and that's why it was leaking gas.
All right, so he's not a mechanic. Okay, so Ryan, so what you do with that, okay, is open a choke, okay? Open the choke, look down the top of the carburetor and open the throttle. And when you, with the engine off, don't do it with the engine running. Look down the carburetor and open the throttle. And when you open the throttle, you should see 2 squirts of fuel from the accelerator pumps. That's the first thing you check. If you don't see those 2 squirts, then your problem's in the accelerator pump. Now, a weak fuel pump, probably not. And I'll tell you why. Even the weakest fuel pump will fill the bowl. Okay, so it'll fill the bowl. It may not keep up with the demand of the engine once it's running, but at idle, if you get any gasoline into the carburetor at all, it'll be enough to fill the bowl. So your symptom in that case would be you would drive the car, let's say, I don't know, a few hundred feet, a little while, and you give it gas and it would drop dead, right? So I would say no, weak fuel pump is probably not it. But a weak or non-functioning accelerator pump will do that. Trying to think what else might do that. Vacuum leaks. See, it's really hard to diagnose what you got there, man. And especially because you're really not a mechanic, so it's hard for me to like speculate. Like I could probably ask you a lot of questions that you might not be able to answer. So I don't know. Check the accelerator pump first, and then come back and let me know what you find. Snoopy boobs, internal versus external balancing. Yes. Let's see.
Jeff Hutchins, Tony, you want to tell him to put a Holly Sniper on that D150.
Oh yeah, definitely. Let's see.
Tony, have you used a FM Dodge Plymouth and Chrysler body front clip for custom builds, for any old custom builds?
An FM? No, I don't see that question, but I don't even know what that is.
A FM Dodge F-body M? They don't make an M.
Okay, FMJ? I'm trying to find the...
it's not far back up.
I must be way behind here.
Oh, you don't see the time, do you?
7:50. Hang on. Oh yeah, I'm way behind. Oh, here we go. Throttle Davidson. Okay, have you ever used an FM Dodge Plymouth Chrysler body front clip section? Okay, no, I have not. You're talking about an FMJ, all right? So it's the F body, like the Aspens and Volares, M body, J body, so like the Diplomats and all of those cars, right? Fifth Avenues. No, I have not, but that was a very popular swap. Actually, Kiwi's a guy to ask for that. Kiwi, have you ever used any of those FMJ with the transverse torsion bars?
Transverse torsion bars?
Yeah.
I have seen that once, yes. You just reminded me. I have seen it once, and it kind of threw me. I didn't know what on earth it was.
Yeah, well, for you guys that aren't familiar, the older Mopars use torsion bars that run front to back on the car. Okay.
Yeah.
And beginning with the F body cars, the Aspens and Volares, they changed that. So now the torsion bars go out and then crisscross like this. So the whole front clip with the torsion bars is like one piece. So some guys that were building street rods, it wasn't extremely popular, but it was popular enough that it was kind of a thing. So because it's a self-contained front suspension system, everything is right there. So yeah, it was popular to use those, or semi-popular to use those, but I myself have never done it.
Yeah, I've never used them, but I have seen. I can't remember what the car was, but I remember seeing it and just being really baffled at the time as to what it was, because like that we saw lots of A bodies and that sort of stuff back in New Zealand, with the front to back torsion bars, but yeah, we really didn't get any cars, with that transverse torsion. So that was a bit of a surprise to me, that one.
Jay, why anyone is a flat Earth guy here? Actually, I'm a bacala Earth guy. I believe that the Earth is actually shaped like a piece of bacala. Okay, prove it's not.
Well, yeah, okay. Chris Cadman saying, Kiwi, a local has a Falcon pickup with Mustang body panels. Looks okay. Ever seen that? I have never seen that modification, no. What year Falcon? Because Falcon's taller in the body than a Mustang, so I'd be interested to see that.
I got a remade Q-Jet from Advance. It got stuck in wide open throttle while driving. It scared the crap out of me. I've never had that happen, but I mean, it's possible.
Ryan Petty's saying, if I could put a Holly sniper on, I would. Oh God, good luck. Yeah, I wouldn't.
No. Baklava is a dessert. Bacala is a fish. What's he saying here? Emily Graham, FMJ spindles will fit that 59 DeSoto disc brake conversion. Are you sure about that, Emily? That would be a descendant of a C body. I don't know, but I'll take your word for it.
Mexican spec. He's talking to 426 Hemi. We also had Plodgers. Actually, I had one in the backyard, 74 Chrysler Dart. What the hell is a Plodge? Is it a Plymouth Dodge or something?
Yeah. A Plodge.
Okay. All these new words. It's a bit hard on a foreigner,
David Fernandez, what's this thing with diesels and turbos? Runaway turbo? Do you have any turbo diesel projects going on there, Kiwi?
No. I don't work on diesels.
Emily is saying she is sure. Okay, sold. Let's see.
Monk from Philly, Kiwi Tony. Whatever happened to that gay Democrat staffer in the hearing room? Okay.
You would know far more about that than I would.
I'm not sure what he's referring to.
All of the exploits of the, all right. Let's find something else.
Late Canadian late 50s Mopars were half Plymouth, half Dodge. There you go.
Let's see. Alan McElroy, if I cannot use conventional 5W30, getting harder to find, is diesel Showatella 1030 the next best? Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem with it at all. That would actually be my first choice. Let's see. What is that? Is that coming from my side? You don't hear that.
I heard something then.
Yeah, I keep getting these weird noises keep coming through my speaker. I thought it was like your stomach or something.
No, I cooked tonight, so the stomach's all good.
Let's see. Zerial, hey guys, do you know where I could find an EGR carb spacer that came on the 73 Fords? I remember those. I've had no luck finding one. Why? Why would you want to find one? No, just do away with that. Do away with that. Where you would find one, I have no idea. That's not something that anybody on earth would have ever reproduced for any reason. Get away from it. I remember those spacers very well. And those EGR valves would go bad. That was like the first, like EGR valves were kind of new at that point when they started using those, and they were always bad. That was it manifests itself as a vacuum leak, but you can't find a vacuum leak, and so it's just because the plunger doesn't seal. So the exhaust is always getting mixed into the intake. So it'll give you all the symptoms of a bad vacuum leak without any vacuum at all, or without any vacuum leaks at all.
Richard Stanbury's asking about entire door locking assembly grafted from a late model to an old model car. How is the easiest way? Mate, that's a tough one to answer. It really depends what you're putting it into, what you're taking it out of. Well, one thing to keep in mind is most door handles operate the same way. It's you pull the door, either pull the door handle out and that pushes a rod, or you have a push button which pushes a rod. And it just basically goes through a 90-degree angle change, which basically goes down the door and releases the latch. So they all kind of work on the same, mostly, 98% of the time they work on the same concept. And then it's just finding one that suits the look you're looking for and a bit of creative engineering and make it work.
Beagle Bob, it's a good question. Would you break in a motor differently after new rings with the same cam compared to a new cam as well? So the break-in for rings and the break-in for a camshaft are two completely different things. The break-in for a camshaft is, so the textbook break-in for a camshaft is 20 minutes at 2,000 RPM or thereabouts. And that's so that the cam is always drenched in oil. At 2,000 RPM, there's enough oil being thrown off the crank and the rods to keep the camshaft saturated with oil so that during that break-in period, there's no chance of it going dry, right? So that's the point of the break-in period with a camshaft. Now, the rings, on the other hand, you want the rings to seat. So it's two different things. If you're building an engine fresh, you do the cam break-in first, and then you start breaking in the rings. And you start breaking in the rings by loading it. You want to load the motor. You don't want a lot of RPM, but you want to load the motor. So after you're done with a cam break-in, let's say, you want to do acceleration runs, let's say from idle to around 3,000, 4,000 RPM, full throttle runs. The harder you hit it, the happier the rings seat. But you don't want to go for too much RPM because a lot of heat during that period of time. And RPM equates to even more heat, and you have a chance of distorting the rings and taking the temper out of the rings. So for a ring break-in, you want hard acceleration from idle to 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 RPM. Repeat that over and over again. After about 200 or 300 miles or so, then you could go zing the thing and it's fine. But so yeah, it's two different things. The break-in for rings and break-in for camshaft are two different things. Do you agree with any of that, Kiwi?
I do agree with that completely. A race engine builder explained to me with the rings was being too hard on them too quick. Is they don't have enough contact area because they are breaking in. They're not completely touching the bores, right. and the bore is what cools the ring. So if the rings aren't touching all the way around, which they're not when they're brand new, they don't cool effectively. So if you load them and push them too many RPMs, and the ring will overheat, lose its temper, and
yeah. But it's important, though, that, okay, so now think about it this way, right? Lower RPM, right? You've got friction there. There's more heat in the ring at lower RPM because it's still cutting its way into the cylinder bores. They're mating to each other, okay? But one of the ways that you help that mating is by loading the motor, because when you load the motor, combustion
pushes the rings into the bore.
Out, right, exactly.
Yep.
Pushes the ring out into the wall. So you get the combination of the ring being pushed out into the wall, but not enough RPM to create excessive heat.
Yeah. I try not to overcomplicate it for a lot of my customers, and I just tell them to drive it like they normally drive it. Just drive it. Don't be kind to it, especially just drive it like normal. And I think that's without getting too technical and going over people's heads, that's not a bad way of doing it.
The old wisdom, and it's kind of how I've always done it too, is they break in an engine hard and they run hard, but they don't really last quite as long, and vice versa. So if you're building a hot rod motor, and you're not going to expect to get 75 or 100,000 miles out of this thing. It's a hot rod. It's a toy. Right? So during the course of its life, it's going to see 10,000 miles, 20,000 miles worth of use. Well, hammer the living piss out of that thing. Let it come in nice and happy and loose, right? But if you go for the long haul, if it's a passenger car engine that's going to see 150, 200, 300,000 miles, then break it in like kind of textbook. You know what I mean? In short bursts, right? Short bursts of throttle to help seat them in. but not too much RPM. Don't go crazy with it. They don't run as hard as an engine that you beat like a redheaded stepchild, but they last a lot longer that way. Emily Roberts. She said, that was my husband commenting. Okay, it's his birthday today. He's the one who called you yesterday about the Wally Parks car.
Yes, I had a call yesterday from Emily's Roberts' husband, and he's got a 58 Plymouth two-door post car that's been converted to look like a 57. And yeah, Wally Parks owned it. It was a clone of a drag racer from way back in the day. He did tell me all about it. It's slipped my mind now. But he sent me some photos, and yeah, it's got no motor and transmission because they took it out to put that into another clone car. But yeah, it's all documented, and it's got a Wally Parks connection, and that's legitimate. And
that's cool.
Yeah, it's a cool car. Let me see if I can find a picture he sent me. Yeah, I mean, needs a little bit of love, judging by the pictures, but it's a car with some history, some true drag racing history.
Okay, well, you look for that.
Yep.
Well, rebuilding a few Rochester single-barrel carbs has spares my fleet of Rovers. Okay, is there a way to clean out carburetor without using acetone to not harm components for storage after testing? I've never cleaned out. If you're going to be cleaning with acetone, it's going to be the carburetor's apart, right? And you're going to clean and dry each part, afterwards to get all the acetone off. I would not recommend using acetone in a carburetor and then letting it sit. That's not a good plan. Oh wow! So they have that car?
I don't think it's that exact car, but it's a clone of it.
Okay.
That's the car that he's selling.
So that car was called Suddenly.
Okay.
In 1959, I think it was. And they ran it on the lakes. Because a lot of people don't realize the NHRA had a lot to do with like land speed racing also at one time before it became corporate nonsense monstrosity. But the NHRA was actually very cool. And that Plymouth was called Suddenly, was the name of the car. I just saw something over here. Fubar just put up the link to our merch. Guys, we have a new t-shirt coming. You're going to love this. You guys are going to love this, right? But I'm not going to tell you what it is. But we have a new t-shirt coming like this week. And we're going to sell 20 quadrillion of them. Every being on the planet is going to want one of these shirts.
No, really?
Even insect life will want these shirts. We're going to put them out in the insect sizes also. That's how popular the shirt is going to be. It may actually change the trajectory of human evolution.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's coming out. I don't know about tomorrow, but it'll be out. It'll be out, and you'll be
you can bring me one with the fuel tank.
I don't know if I'll have them printed by then. No, I'm going to bring in a fuel tank. I'll drop the fuel tank off to you tomorrow.
Okay, man. Sounds good. I'll be around.
I always tell you that, and then I never show up.
That has happened on occasion, yes.
I know. I'm such a dick. I really am. I don't know why you even talk to me, Kiwi.
Chris Freeman said, "How about your new T-shirt, Kiwi?" Yeah, it's coming. It's coming. I might have to make one with a Suburban on it. That's if we make it back. We'll make a T-shirt with, we made it 2,000 miles.
Chris Cadman saying he hopes that the new T-shirt has nipples on it. What's a shirt without nipples is what I say.
They certainly do look better with a good pair of nipples inside them.
It's a family show, Kiwi. I have to keep reminding you.
If you don't make it back, you Mexican spec. If you don't make it back, you will sell more shirts. Yeah.
Well, that's true. You know,
I'll probably quadruple my subscribers if we never make it back and we're just missing, and everyone will subscribe to watch my old videos that will never be anymore.
Good night, Throttle Davidson. Let's see.
No, there's an idea for a new shirt. Is that what it is, Tony? A new shirt. Electric vehicles are a fraud. I'm shocked.
No, mine is even cooler. Mine is much cooler than that. I wait here. This is what's going on the shirt. Right, here's a teaser. Okay, ready? Okay. There you go.
Someone's going to freeze that and wind it back.
That's why I held it up that quick, so they're going to have to try to really click, click, click. Like one of them.
Someone will do it. Someone will figure it out.
We gotta wait for the. Chris Fieldmaster, it's a family show with usernames like Snoopy Boobs and Reese's Phil from Groven. Like I got no control over what the viewers name themselves.
The man has a point, Tony. The man has a point. Tony and Kiwi live from the Bermuda Triangle. And Kathy Lee Giffords-Hyman. There's someone on here called Kathy Lee Giffords-Hyman.
Really?
I don't know.
I haven't seen them.
Danny Boyd, he's saying.
There's got to be somebody who came over from your channel.
Oh, dear. Mike Sheldon. Tony, ever own a 64 Plymouth? I owned a 63.
I crashed a 64 Plymouth into a sewage treatment plant on Staten Island.
What?
Yeah. I was like 15.
Do we want to know? That's the question. Do we want to know how he did that?
I crashed it into right at the bottom of Armstrong Avenue by Arthur Hill Road. There's a gas station there. Behind the gas station, I don't know what's there now. It's been some decades since I've been there. But there was a wastewater treatment thing there, and I crashed a 64 Plymouth through the fence and into one of the tanks.
Great.
Let's see. Moob Eyes.
A TD2 Kiwi. Dean Stevenson, TD2. That's an old Valiant of some kind, isn't it? Mopar.
What's that name?
I remember the AP3s and AP4 Valiant, stuff like that. I had an AP4 Valiant. We got it's a Kiwi speaker, TD2 Mopar.
Feel the burn. Thoughts on the 8 to 10 foot aliens in Miami? What do you make of that, Kiwi?
What are you talking about?
The 8 to 10 foot aliens that supposedly invaded that mall in Miami on New Year's Day.
I did hear something about that the other day, and it's like it wasn't serious, right?
They had like 100 cop cars show up for this thing.
Really?
Yeah, which is like, I think, so it's like, okay, so the story is there was a bunch of kids fighting and somebody threw some fireworks and so on and so forth. And so they called the cops. And, well, you would say that, well, all right, so it's a group of kids fighting and they may or may not have weapons. So, yeah, send out like a dozen cops. Okay, like, flood the place with cops, right? Or SWAT team. But no, it's like literally every cop that was even close to the city of Miami was there. The line of cops, like 100 freaking cop cars and then some, right? So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Dean Stevenson, 63 Dodge Phoenix TD2, whatever they called them in New Zealand. Tavo saying a TD2 would have been the 62 Dart, known here as a Phoenix. No.
Yeah, we had Dart. So a lot of people don't know, before the Dart was an A body in 1963, it was a full-size car. And you had the Dart, the Phoenix, and was it the Pioneer? Were different levels.
Yep, I remember that name, the Dodge Pioneer. Yeah, they had those in New Zealand, right-hand drive four-door sedans. I think that was very early 60s, like 61 or 2 or something.
Yeah, up to 62. And then the Dart became, 61. Then 62, the Dart became a B body. And then 63, the Dart became an A body. So they just kept bouncing that name around.
Uncle Tony, Mashabees has got a 68 Oldsmobile Cutlass 4-wheel drum brakes. I would love to convert to front disc. Best source for parts. Is that a worthwhile modification in your mind?
Okay, where was that question now?
It's a 8:20 a couple of minutes ago, 3 minutes ago. Mashabees.
Okay, I see it. Okay, 68 Cutlass 4-wheel drum brake. Love to convert to front disc. Okay. Best source for the parts. Is that a worthwhile modification in your mind? Depends on what you're going to use the car for. I tend to leave the braking systems alone and just optimize what's there. Kiwi likes to do conversions. So, Kiwi, if you were going to convert that 68 Olds to front disc, what would you do?
68 Olds. I'm guessing that's going to be, I'm not sure that spindle will be peculiar to the Cutlass. As opposed to the Chevy equivalent. But honestly, there's a lot of people selling that kind of stuff on eBay. If you punch it, 68 Olds Cutlass front wheel disc brake kit, you're going to come up with a lot of options. There's a lot of people selling that kind of stuff on eBay. And the other one is Willwood. Willwood will have a kit for that car for sure. And depending on, you can go quite big depending on the diameter of your wheel that you're running. Is it a worthwhile modification? I think so, yeah. I think it is. You do have to add a booster as well to really get that real power with the brakes, because typically discs don't grab quite as well as a drum. Most disc setups, you need to have a booster as well, whereas the drums will work without a booster. But yeah, I just find drum brakes to be a bit overly complicated, and like the disc brakes are really simple. You throw a set of pads in them every once in a while and you just keep on trucking. You don't have all the springs and adjusters and all that farting around that you do with drum brakes.
I like that.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, all right, you're going to make that swap, all right? I would recommend you use factory parts. Well, you can use the aftermarket stuff too. But here's the thing you got to understand about this. Just swapping, and I did a whole video on this, just swapping the front brakes is not a good idea. Swap the front brakes, but now you've got to go through the rest of the system because it has to be a balanced system. See, the car has certain characteristics that were designed into it from the beginning. So it has the weight. It has weight transfer bias to the front because when you step on the brakes, remember, most of your braking is done by the front because when you step on the brake, the weight of the car wants to transfer to the front. So the front wheels get more traction than the back wheels. Now, if you don't balance the system correctly, what you'll end up with is a car that has too much bias to the front or not enough to the back, and you'll end up either locking or not. See, like there's so many different angles to this. If you're going to do this disc brake conversion, you need to change the master cylinder. You need to have the right proportioning valve. And you have to make sure that the back brakes are compatible with the disc of that front car. So in other words, like if you go to 1968 Oldsmobile, what back brakes did they have on the car when they put discs on those? Because discs were an option in 1968 Oldsmobile. So you want to make sure that everything is a coordinated package. Now that's assuming that you're dealing with a stock car that you're going to drive, every day. And when I say drive every day in the rain, in the snow, it's the kind of thing that you can throw the keys to your old lady and say, here, just take it to the store. Don't worry about it. So, that kind of car, you need to engineer, you need to back engineer the whole system. If you're not going to do that, then just leave well enough alone and bring everything up to snuff. Does that make sense?
That's actually pretty good advice, yeah. Yeah, I'm skipping a few points in my explanation. Yeah, like with the Willwood setup, you'll get the Willwood disc brake kit, and then it comes with a master cylinder and a proportioning valve, an adjustable prop valve, so that you can dial in, enough rear brakes, not too much rear brake.
Right.
So yeah, Tony certainly gave a more detailed explanation of what goes on there. So yeah.
Well, that is why I make the big bucks.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just kind of so used to doing that, I forget some of the details sometimes, that and you assume that everybody knows that, and they actually don't.
What's this, Bobby Z? You need to explain disc brakes to a few guys listening to AP, certain self-proclaimed carburetor guru on YouTube and Facebook. I have no idea. Bobby Z, you're talking in like the Miami alien language. I don't know what you're saying.
AP self-proclaimed guru.
What was that?
I'm not sure what he's talking about there.
I'm getting weird feedback through my.
Yeah.
It's just on my end. I don't know where it's coming from though. It's strange.
You haven't got that new microphone switched on that Kathy was showing me?
Yeah, I got it right here.
Huh?
I keep moving it to different places, but I have like odd voices coming through my. All right.
That's a good question from Joe K. If you have a car born with ABS and now the ABS is not functioning, the car still has traditional brakes, is this considered a safety issue?
You know, I couldn't even comment on that. I don't know. I don't know.
The car still has traditional brakes. So the brakes are working okay without the ABS pump functioning. I guess that's what he means.
But here's the thing: the ABS system is functioning as an extreme proportioning valve.
Right.
Think of it that way, right? You know the function of a proportioning valve. Well, the ABS system is an extreme proportioning valve that bounces the pressure from wheel to wheel, right?
Yeah.
So even though the pedal feels good, and the pedal's going to feel good because there's no air in the system or anything like that. So the pedal's going to feel normal, and the car is going to slow down normal. But depending on how that ABS unit is stopped, right, with one valve open, closed, whatever it happens to be, you may not be getting the right pressures to the right places. You know, so let's just say the ABS stopped working during a period of time that it was actually functioning. It's going to have a valve open to send pressure to the left front and a valve open to send pressure to the right rear, or any combination of those things. So, yeah, I would say it's probably not safe.
Yeah, I don't know that I'd be that comfortable with it like that. Yeah, that would concern me. I'd either want to like truly get rid of it completely out of the car, gone. And have traditional brakes, or get the pump, the ABS system working. To have it in there not working, it would worry me that it would. And I don't know enough about them, in all honesty, but which is why it would worry me that at some point it may fail in a way that takes your brakes away from you.
All right, Lindsay O'Bowen. So this is something that there was a lot of questions on the video they did about preheating an engine block before you paint it, sweating out the oils and stuff. So I'll read the question here. Your idea of prepping an engine for paint by using a map burner to sweat out the residual solvents from the engine, but I've gone through an entire bottle and it still sweats. What am I doing wrong? Okay, now listen. The first time you apply heat to it, you'll actually see the surface of the metal change. All right. After you've done that, you will see condensation. So in other words, first time you go over it, the block is going to be, from my experiences, I have to do this 1,000 times, right? The first time you pass over, so you've cleaned the block, clean it as best you can with solvents and so on and so forth. Now, before you paint it, you hit it with the MAP gas torch. And you'll see that as you cover the areas with the MAP gas torch and the solvents burn out, the actual color of the metal is going to change. It'll become like grayish, right? Where before it'll be dark. So as you're going over it, it's going to get lighter in color. Now, if you were to, let's say, go over it again, there is a factor of condensation that happens because of the flame hitting it. So what you want to do is you want to go the first time around, have the block change to that lighter color, but don't worry about like, you'll see, like I said, like condensation. I should have covered that a little bit better in the video. I didn't, and there was a lot of misunderstanding with that. But like, if you just take the block, you clean it, you hit it with the torch, and only one little section of it, just what you hit with the torch, you'll see that it's a completely different color than the rest of the block. But now if you keep doing it over and over again, you'll find that it sweats. And that sweat is just water. So don't worry about that. Go over it the first time, go for that color change, and then don't worry about like sweating or anything like that. Okay. Oh my God, I've lost. Okay. Let's see. Dead air, Kiwi. They're not making any sound.
David Fernandez is asking if Tony, do you have a link for Kiwi's YouTube channel?
A link to Kiwi? Who hasn't? Doesn't Fubar always put up the links?
Yeah, he does. He does.
Well, I would assume that everybody's already subscribed to you. I mean, how can
I'm guessing David Fernandez has not. He may be the only one here that's not subscribed to me.
Oh, Dave, come on, man. Get over there and sub immediately.
I'm sure Fubar is going to throw up the link any second now. But yes, there is a link, but I can't do it at this end. Or you
there
just
you go. Fubar jumped in there.
There you go. Yep, there it is.
So what is the latest stuff happening on your channel?
Well, I just put a video up yesterday on a nice Cobra that we had, a really nice one, with a factory 5 chassis in it, and big block twin 4-barrel FE 427, which was a little rocket ship. And what's that?
I saw that. It was a nice car.
Yeah, it was a nice car. It was well put together. Someone had actually put some time and thought into it. It was a nice car.
That red thing that you had.
Yeah, unlike the red thing that we had, yes. It was just a way better car, independent rear suspension and stuff like that. So yeah, it actually worked. And what else we got coming up? We're about to swing the Coyote motor into the Cougar Fastback. That's happening in the next couple of days. So that's going to be interesting to see. That'll be my first Coyote install into the a Cougar or a Mustang. Like from scratch on my own. I've helped a couple of other guys do it. So that's going to be interesting. We've got another red fastback Mustang in there that the video's in the can. I've just got to put it together and post it, and that's getting an FE swap, which has been made more difficult by the Mustang 2 front suspension again. So we're going through that process. What else is going on? Yeah, Casper's going to be getting some front suspension shortly, that white fastback. So yeah, there's plenty coming up, and then of course 2 weeks we've got the big gumball rally across America in the '59 Plymouth Suburban. Hopefully we're not going to fly there, have to give up on it and fly home again. That'll be disappointing. But you don't know what you don't know, and can but try.
He's journey into the unknown.
Yeah.
Super unknown.
Super unknown.
Yeah.
So
that's beyond the unknown.
Yeah.
When you're there, you don't know, it's unknown, but that's way out there. It's
way out there. It's kind of Twilight Zone stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I'll be here watching.
Watching.
Yeah.
In the warmth with your dog snuggled up to you on your lap.
Petting my dogs.
Cup of hot cocoa from Kathy.
We're dying in the desert.
Yeah. I get it. And you'd be laughing. I understand.
No, I would never laugh at your misfortune, my friend.
Oh, dear. Yeah, well.
Fubar put up the link to my merch. And tomorrow, I don't know if it's tomorrow. I lie about this stuff so much. Very soon, like within the next day or two, we're going to have our new shirt. The one we will sell gazillions of them. You guys better get online, like right, because it's going to be a waiting list for these shirts. There's going to be people like what's the word I'm looking for? Scalping them, buying these shirts at our price and then reselling them to the public for thousands, because that's how much in demand they're going to be.
Well, he's talking the talk, isn't he, guys? Like, he's hyping it up big. This is like listening to an infomercial.
Oh no,
But
man,
wait, there's more.
I know a good shirt when we did the sketchy shirt.
Right.
I knew that was going to go. Well, this one I know is going to go like. We're not even going to. I mean, we're going to sell them on the store here, but these things are going right to eBay and Etsy and all these other things too. So yeah. Yes, I'm going to crash the internet selling these shirts.
Well, let's just hope I'm lucky enough to get my hands on one.
You'll be lucky.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. I might even wear it in the Plymouth on the trip home.
I don't know if we'll have them done by then. Well, yeah, we should.
You said the next day or two, not the next week or two.
Well, I'll get them into production and I'll get the artwork out and start taking orders, but that doesn't mean I'll actually get them.
Oh, perhaps I can get one of the pre order ones that your experimental ones, like hot off the press.
I can write one out for you. I have a Sharpie. I'll make one for you. I'll bring it to you tomorrow.
Okay.
Sean Jefferson wants a Gearhead Monk shirt. Go to our store, UncleTony'sGarage.com, and all of the stuff that's inferior to what's coming. All of our stuff, our current stuff, is there right now. Everything we say. What is it with these nipple shirts?
I'm not sure. You've started something. Joe Case said maybe Kiwi can use the new shirt as a shop rag on the Plymouth. Ooh. Tony talks it up after raiding Kiwi's cans.
Hey, I gotta get parts from somewhere, man. Stuff. Let's see. See, more nipple stuff. What is it with nipples tonight?
Who's asking for a pic? Hemi Cooters 426 is asking for pictures of the cooter. Let me see if I can find one for you quickly. It does. Yeah, most of the side trim's missing off it. It's got like 2 panels with the side spears on them. So I've got to start trying to look to get. I thought I'd found a complete set of trim, but it was already gone, already sold. So, which was a bit disappointing.
Kiwi shirt early prototype misspelled words. Yes. Sell mechanic bras. Olive, if we did is Olive still here? If we did a UTG bra, would you buy one?
A UTG bra, did you say?
Yeah. Oh, that's so. I don't know what that is. It's so something.
It's ready. It's definitely ready.
Ah, jeez. It's nice.
So
it's cool though.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to need paint, no doubt. But hey.
Okay. Rick S. Can you tell him 9 1/4 slant 6 pressure plate from a 9 1/2 while in the car? I want to install a nice 9 1/2 inch disc. No, you're talking about no, you really can't. I don't think you could tell, like you. I mean, imagine you could look. No. You could guess at it, but I mean, no, there's really no way to tell. But I can think of maybe somebody does have a way.
Here's that underfloor space in that Suburban.
Nice, perfect place to put that fuel cell. It'll fit right in there.
Yeah, it's huge. You put a couple of dead bodies under the floor. So
They
yeah,
knew
but
how
it's,
to
it's
package cars back in the day, man.
what's that?
They knew how to package cars back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
I like those back windows, man. That's nice. The
Yeah,
clear glass.
the huge fins and stuff. They're cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's solid. It's pretty much rust free, and yeah. Now, new comments. Oh, click.
Okay, Peter Beans. I have a 74 Charger with 18,000 miles on it that has the original 318. Wow. The body is super nice. Would it be worth keeping the stock 318 or go with the 440 I have? What's your thoughts? No, bro. You have a Survivor with 18,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
No, don't know. Find something else that you stick a 440 in. Not that. That car is worth far, far more. Not only from a historical standpoint, from a monetary standpoint, worth far more keeping it original at 18,000 miles. I would, in fact, anything that I put on that car, like if I was going to do a tune-up on it, plug wires, that kind of stuff, I would try to find NOS parts. That's a rare thing. A 74 Charger with only 18,000 original miles on it is something that you cared for. That's a nice car, bro. Imagine it, 50 years old, right? The car's 50 years old, and it's only got 18,000 miles on it. Do not modify that car, bro. Don't do it. Don't do it. There's lots and lots and lots of especially 73, 74 Chargers. They don't go for a lot of money. You could find one relatively cheap. A decent roller you could probably find for $1,500, $2,000 bucks. They're very little desirability as far as hot rodding the 73, 74s.
Yeah, just leave that one like it is. 18,000 miles.
That one alone. The car's worth a lot more stock than it is modified.
Yeah. Cuda 426 Hemi saying with the Ford and the GM still had the lift up back windows back in 59. That wagon that I've got it's actually an electric back window on it.
Glenn says that would make a good panic room if you break down and you're surrounded by coyotes.
Yeah, there you go. Cozy for sure.
You should. No, I won't even. Let's see.
Todd Danio is saying ship an early Mustang gas tank there with the amount of room in that storage area. Ship an early Mustang gas tank there and use that. Actually, that's been suggested. That's not a terrible idea by any means, because they're like $140 for a tank, and it would just sit in the back there. But that is something that's crossed my mind. Yeah.
That's I got it. I'll bring it to you tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
It'd be perfect for your purposes.
Yeah. So has it got a gas cap on it and all that kind of fun stuff? Yep.
Yeah. Just drop it in. Run a fuel line to the bottom of it and drop it in.
There you
go.
Mexican speaker's asking whether it's a Fury, Belvedere, or Savoy. I believe it's a Super, but I might be wrong on that. The Suburban, it's a Suburban Super.
Never heard of it.
They didn't make that? What am I thinking of then? There is a different spec. You can get a Fury wagon.
Well, Savoy was the bottom level, like no trim. That was the scum liner. Okay.
Scum liner.
Yeah. Then you've got the Belvedere, which is slightly higher trim. And then you've got the Fury, which is, over the top trim.
Right. It's not a Fury. I know that much. It's Sport. Sorry, it's a Plymouth Sport Suburban. I believe is what it's meant to be. Not a Super, a Sport.
Mike N, I have a 2023 Jellyfish UAP UFO. Mylar skin ruptured and then some of the helium leaked out. What's the best product to repair a leaking balloon or UFO? Cannolis. You just jam cannolis into the hole. The cannoli cream hardens and it forms a nice, leak-proof bond in the Mylar. Plaza Savoy, that's right, Plaza. Plaza was the scum liner, and then Savoy, and then the Belvedere. That's right. Okay.
There you go. End of time saying the station wagon is bigger than you think. They're huge. I'm hoping so. Okay. Kiwi's going to get this Plymouth just so Tony can make content with it.
And content I will make.
Yes.
After he's done going through hell and high water and all of the challenges and the journey of to end all, then I'll get the cushy part.
Oh dear.
We have to fighting death in the desert for days on end, yeah.
I think cold is going to be the brutal part of it on this trip back.
Yeah, Plaza was the bottom of the barrel trim level, and then they did away with Plaza in 60 or 61, and then the Savoy was the bottom of the barrel. So one of the things people don't realize is that back in the 50s, the late 50s, early 60s, so around 1960ish, right? Plymouths were considered to be a joke among. So if you had a Plymouth marketed their cars as being cheap. That was their thing. Except for the Fury, they marketed the Fury as a more upscale thing. But they literally went out of their way to tell you how cheap these cars were in all of the advertising literature. So that was if you had one of these things, you were kind of what's the word I'm looking for? You were cheap, okay? You couldn't afford a nicer car, so you got a Plymouth, a Plaza, right? So times changed. They got away from that, around 1962, 1963. They got away from that, and they started bringing up the level of the car. But those cars were targeted deliberately as being the cheapest things you can have.
A Mexican speaks, it's saying he's looking at his book and codes for the 50s cars, and he's saying the Suburban isn't listed for a 59 model. Well, this car's got a Suburban badge on the back fender. So it's a factory badge by the look of it. So it is a thing, and I've been looking for parts for it, and they refer to the Suburban quite often. So, yeah. As far as I know, it's a real thing. Just trying to see if we got a better picture of the badge.
Rick asks, is it normal for the clutch disc to be slightly smaller than the pressure plate, or it could be a 9 1/4 on a 9 1/2? Yes, that's probably if the clutch disc is undercut from the donut, or the pressure plate. Then that would be indicative that it's.
I don't know whether you're going to be able to see this on this, but
That's what it says. Suburban what?
I can't make out the other badge. Is my problem.
How could you buy a car without knowing all of the badges on it? What the hell does that say? I can't tell what that says.
It's definitely Suburban, but the little one above it.
Yeah, I can't make that out.
No, I can't make that out.
Yep, that's a Suburban.
Yep.
I'll say so. Okay, so CUDA 426 Hemi, the Sports Suburban aligned with the Fury listed for $3,020 for the 6-passenger 4-door Suburban and $3,130 for the 9-passenger version.
Yeah, I wish it was a 9-passenger, but it's not. That would be cool.
David Fernandez, did you ever hear the trick where you spray water on a crankshaft position sensor that's bad? No. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
I got to look into that. Yeah, I've never heard that.
Spray water onto a crank. Not sure how that would help, but
Does the water magnify does the water amplify the magnetic? How would that work? I'm not saying it doesn't. I don't know. I wonder if the water would magnify, because that's generally what happens when a crankshaft position sensor goes bad, the magnet's going away. So I guess if the magnet gets weak enough, the water may bridge that gap. I don't know. It's interesting though. Peter Pace says after you spray water on it, it is still bad and wet. Yeah, that would be I would see that would be a thing. Glenn Nickerson says he's heard of people peeing on a spark plug. Kiwi?
What?
Well, you're familiar with all that alternative lifestyle stuff. Is that a thing?
No, not to my knowledge, no.
Okay. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could. I'm not sure what the result would be that you're hoping for, but yeah.
Hertz Mustang, people would rent it and take engines out, put crappy engine in return. Yeah, I've heard stories like that. I wouldn't doubt it. Okay. Yeah. So there it is. Paul Sanger, water on the crank sensor arcs it across the flying magnet and makes the connection temporarily. I like that. Next time I come across a potential bad crankshaft position sensor, I will try that. Not that I'll remember it because my memory is shot. I won't even remember an hour from now. I won't even remember that we did this show.
Just don't forget the t-shirts. You know, that's the thing. Don't forget your t-shirt.
Never forget the t-shirt.
Right. The unknown word on that Suburban is custom. I just looked it up. Okay. Suburban Custom. So where in the pecking order was the Suburban Custom then? Was that the base, the mid,
just above the scum liner?
Just above the scum liner.
Okay, you guys are going off into weird places here.
BDSM. Mexican employees are working on the t-shirt. Who are your employees, Tony?
I have the elves. When Santa isn't using them, he sends them down here.
Oh, I see. I thought you were going to say Uncle Kathy. Hey.
Well, Kathy leads them, with the whip.
and a dog to round up.
It's pretty cool.
That's why you've got a cattle dog to round up the elves.
Not for the faint of heart. Olive is saying custom usually means no options except what you ordered.
Okay.
Huh. Yeah, come to think of it, I got to think about that. When something is labeled as custom, no options except what you ordered. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
So it's a bare bones car except whatever you ordered, making it custom. That makes sense.
Okay, Hemi, Cuda 426 Hemi saying it's deluxe, custom, and sport with the 59 wagons. So custom, sound like what he's saying is the deluxe was the base, and then custom, then sport. I don't know. I have to do a little bit of Googling on that. But that's what 426 is saying. Kiwi, what up with the mirror frame? I don't know. What's up with the mirror frame?
I keep watching to see if any type of multi-dimensional beings appear in it,
What? Is that better? Less mirror frame. Because there were two customs. Okay. Hemi Kuda's saying because there were two customs. Two different specs of customs. Is that what you mean, bud?
Okay, yeah. Oliver's saying strippo trim level, basically. But back then you could get most options a la carte.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I never really thought of, because they hung the word custom on like everything.
Right.
That makes sense now. That makes sense now.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Billy Bob Holcomb, maybe it will pass through customs easier.
Kiwi only pee on lemon trees. I saw the movie. So
Yeah, that's
live tonight, bro.
That's a reference to World's Fastest Indian.
I don't know.
Have you seen that movie, Tony? World's Fastest Indian?
I did. I saw it, but I don't remember like specific parts of it. Like,
right.
So what was the thing with lemon trees?
He would go out and pee on his lemon tree, and that was then I can't remember why that was a thing. I just remember it being a thing. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a second look. Yeah.
Huey, you're a racist.
What?
Yeah.
Say Kiwi 3 times in the mirror and see what happens.
Let's see. So yeah, 426ME is saying Cuda 426ME noted deluxe suburban is bottom line.
Bottom line. Oh, so I've got a mid-range. Woo.
Fastest Indian is about the Odyssey to get to Bonneville. Yeah, no, I saw the movie and I'm familiar with the story, but I don't remember any of the details from it. He was a national hero, right? With you guys?
Oh yeah, Burt Munro. Yeah. Yep.
And Fubar just put up the link to my merch again. So yeah, again, we got a very cool shirt coming. So here's the tease. Okay. Ready? Okay, that's what's going on the shirt.
Don't worry, guys. Come over to my channel when he shows me tomorrow. After that, I'll put it up on my channel, and if you come over and have a look, you can find out what it is.
It's going to be
just don't tell him.
It's going to be the biggest shirt in the history of fabric. No fooling, man. I'm telling you.
Chris Cadman, nips. Just one word comment, nips.
A weird night.
Put clear on it, Kiwi. Yeah, well, yeah. I'm going to see what it looks like in the flesh, like for real. But yeah, it looks like the paint's possibly a little too far gone to kind of patina it, but we'll see. We'll actually get up on it, have a look in the true light of day. Photos are not always, but photos can be a little flattering,
Andrew Barton saying, if Tony sells 1 million shirts, he must build a 528 Barton-powered swinger. Ray is an old friend of mine. Like, I'm sure if I asked him, hey, Ray, can you send me down a motor? He wouldn't have any problem with it. But no, I'm good. I don't really want one.
Well, apparently, Burt Munro peed on the lemon trees to give them more nitrogen, the lemon tree. That's why he would pee on the lemon tree. See, somebody watching this live stream, there's always somebody out there who's got an answer. They're obviously a very intelligent bunch of people that come and watch us. They can't be that intelligent, though, or they wouldn't be watching us, would they?
So back in my Nitro days. So I know Rafe when I was doing Mopar stuff, right? Mopar magazines. And back during my Nitro days, the sickness, right? Ray used to put aside all of his stuff, all of his leftovers, that or blems or stuff that just wouldn't work in a superstock car or whatever it was he was building at the time. He would take his blems and make a pile of them for me. So he'd call me up and say, hey, I got some stuff for you. And I'd go out there and load up a truck with blocks and heads and all kinds of other shit that was not good enough for what he wanted to do, but was okay for what we were doing. So we weren't using iron blocks. Oh, I shouldn't say that. I used an iron block in my car, but those iron heads were still around in match race cars in a day. So I sold a lot of that stuff. Ray helped get my bills paid back during the 1990s. He's a really good guy. I mean, he's a really good guy.
Here's another bit of hybrid info for you, Tony. Terence Seymour was saying, I see EV and hybrid owners in New Zealand are going to be paying road user charges of $55 to $75 per 1,000 kilometres as of the 1st of April. Well, the New Zealand government, because the New Zealand government's been really pushing the EVs and giving tax incentives and blah, blah, all that stuff. So now they're not, the revenues aren't coming in because a lot of people have been getting out of diesel cars and getting into EVs, so they're not getting the road user charges and the tax, and also the tax from the sale of petrol, because gasoline is heavily taxed in New Zealand, which is why it's like $12 a gallon. So they're missing out on all that tax revenue from the gasoline. So now they've gone, oh, okay, well, someone's got to make up the difference, so we'll have to find a way of charging the EV owners that we've just wooed them into buying, and now we're going to slap them with an extra charge. Which is pretty shitty, really.
Ray was, at the time, he was casting up intake manifolds. He's making his own intake manifolds. And he swore me to secrecy. And to this day, I still won't, because I don't know if the science has changed or not. But he showed me something that they had discovered, and it's specific to the Hemi. He showed me something they had discovered on the intake runner that they incorporated into these manifolds that he was casting up, that not only blew my mind, but actually helped me understand a lot more about intake manifold or intake runner dynamics that I never thought about before. But ever since then, it has stuck in my head. But yeah, Ray Martin is a really good guy, really smart guy. Cuda Fortress, do you know Tony D'Agostino? Do you know D'Agostino from the fish wrap days? We used to call him the Bank of D'Agostino, right? Tony D'Agostino was my bank when we were kids. So I was like 20, 22, 23, like that. Whenever we needed money, right? We had just gotten married. We were like just struggling to get by. When we needed money, I'd pile up a bunch of my Mopar shit and drive it out to Middletown, New York, and sell it all to Tony. He and I go way back, way back.
Tony or Kiwi, have you heard about the ammonia engine one of these car manufacturers are working on? I haven't.
Do you know anything about it?
No, not a thing. Ammonia, yeah. Okay, I'm not sure how that would work. They should have a community furnaces and trucks able to transport burning EVs to them. Yeah, that'll be good for the atmosphere, won't it? Toyota is working on the ammonia-powered engines. Oh, yeah.
Oh, who? Tavo is working on them?
No, Toyota.
Oh, yeah. There must be some sort of like electrolysis process where they break the ammonia down before it. I don't know.
Yeah, Craig Cheeto is saying ammonia is hydrogen.
Yeah, okay, that would make sense. So there has to be some way that they're breaking down the ammonia in the intake someplace the engine's actually running on the hydrogen that's separated from the ammonia.
Ammonia engine, ? Run on cat piss, a true scat pack.
News on David, I don't know what that means.
Oh, David, who was doing your 318 with you? Is that David? Or was that Magnati? No, that's Steve Magnati.
Yeah, Steve was doing better. He made a video on his channel. He's sitting up in his hospital room. He's talking. He still has a way to go, but he's made huge improvements. Let's see. All right, so they're talking about the composition of ammonia and hydrogen in litter boxes.
Separate it from the nitrogen and you have fuel. Huh.
Mike Ennis saying ammonia engines are not new. I think the Nazis used in World War II U-boats, I believe. Could be wrong.
Yeah, there's not much stuff that's new anymore.
Seriously.
Have you seen the time, Tony? We're running out of time.
Dude, it's the 2-hour mark. How did that happen?
It was all this talk of T-shirts. You're so enthusiastic about your new T-shirt that
The
time just flew by.
T-shirt. Religions will spring up in the future based on this T-shirt.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours. It's been 2 hours. So, Kiwi, what do you want to tell the people before we go?
Head over to my channel and take a look, and like and subscribe if you like and you want to. Hopefully you do. We'll keep. I'm going to keep trying to put a couple of videos out a week and keep you guys entertained.
Look, nothing. Just go over there and sub. It's a given. Don't just go over there and subscribe.
Other than that, really, thanks to all our mods, Fubar, Ari, Mexican, Spec. Who else we got?
Zero.
Yeah, of course.
Fubar just put the link to our merch again, and I can't think of anything else to say. You've already plugged yourself. You just keep talking about yourself over and over again. So it's like.
Well, I mean, really, the key thing coming up to look forward to is this whole mammoth trip across the country in a car that really should not be driven across the country or across the yard, possibly. But we'll find out.
All right, I think that's about it. Let us pull a plug on this amazing episode and give your brain a rest. You need to calm down a little bit. Throw like a cool towel around your head. Bring the temperature back down.
Top up my bourbon and
top up your bourbon
and go to bed.
All right. So guys, thank you very much. Everybody contributed to Super Chat. Thank you. Always greatly appreciated. Everybody contributed just your presence and your conversation. Also greatly appreciated. We love you guys. We really do. Well, not in a non-homo way. We love the idea of you. Like, we don't love you personally because we don't know you, right? But we love the idea of you. This is important. And
you're digging a hole, Tony. You're digging a hole.
Yeah, I do that. I don't know when to stop. So, but they understand. They
do. Yeah. Yep.
That's it, guys. I'm going to pull a plug. We'll see you guys on our regular Sunday night live next Sunday night, and then every Wednesday night, 7:00, we hang out with Kiwi, and that's it. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stop this right now, Kiwi.
All right. See you guys. Take it easy.
It's just over, bro.